Okay, Mario Kart 9 was just shown alongside the Switch 2, but is it actually Mario Kart 9? Or was that Tour? And see, with this new game, I think there's something weird going on. Why is this course so empty and massive? I think they're shaking things up, and with the Booster Course Pass absolutely vacuuming up nearly every single retro course known to man, they really might not do a lot of retro courses this time around, if any at all. Would most even fit the evident 24 races? Shut up, nerd! 48 courses in Mario Kart 9, from Mushroom to Special Cup, plus, I don't know, Moon and Bell Cup for 24 brand new Nitro courses. Then, from Shell through to Lightning with the new Feather and Spiny Cup, 24 remade retro courses. From Super through Tour. Not only am I trying to get a decent spread across all the games, I'm also going to try and structure them into 6 cups, loosely organized from easiest to hardest, none of that bonus cup crap. They did that in 8 because they were DLC tracks. This is all base game retros, 24 of them. Sorting these into cups will guide us to not accidentally put too many courses from one game, as Nintendo's avoided putting the same game twice in one cup, in addition to repeating course themes, especially within the same cups. For my last guideline, I'm not bringing back any retro courses from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I've played them for so many years at this point, I think I'll go insane if Nintendo brings back Baby Park a 4th time. However, I think the unlabeled courses in the Booster Course Pass are a valid exception, where they can't decide whether they're somehow 8 Deluxe Nitros, me when I lie, or Tour Originals. Half debuted on the Switch and half debuted on Tour. It's a mess, so for my sake, I'm gonna say they labeled them as Nintendo Switch courses and are thus valid to be brought back. So without further ado, let's get into it. And no cities either, you animals, you just ate 14 of them. Kicking off the Shell Cup, we gotta start with something nice, peaceful, open, and easy. So fulfilling a very similar role to Moo Moo Meadows from 8's retro selection, 3DS Daisy Hills is a nice starter course and large enough to hold and spread out 24 players without too much chaos pretty early into the game. By the way, I do think that the starting line here indicates that there are 24 players in this game, so I'm gonna try and account for that where possible. Anyway, the wide open area at the end of this course would be pretty fun to see all the drivers fighting for different sections, through the windmill, over the fountain, or on the rooftops. I've always enjoyed the visuals of this course too, and it'd be nice in HD. Continuing a replica of 8's Shell Cup, we've got GBA Peach Circuit. While not exciting enough to open the cup, I think it suits some tighter racing skills for the game's second course. The Tour remake gave it a great visual overhaul to serve as a base for this remake, but I still think it needs some extra jumps, obstacles, a size increase, and maybe a glider section to really sell this basic course. I do reckon there's potential here though. Nintendo Switch Squeaky Clean Sprint. This course is deceptively easy, with huge open spaces consisting of what's realistically just a loop. But the track has a lot for veteran players as well, with all the extra optional things you can do to show off around the sides. With a shortcut in the drain, the sponges off the bathtub, the extra half-pipe items to snag, and a full top shelf section above the spraying bidet, it's easy for beginners on the main path and engaging enough for veterans. Only having been added to the Booster Course Pass a year and a half ago, I don't think anyone would complain getting to play this course a bit longer. If the BCP got to bring back 4 Wii courses that were already remade in 7, then damn it, Mario Kart 9 can retrieve its 2 fan favorites from there too. You really want Figure 8 Circuit instead? DS Luigi's Mansion is a very simple course, but beloved for its theming, solid turns, obstacles with the mud and walking trees, where the gliders added in 7 could branch out 24 races very well in the open yard. And that's our Shell Cup, filled with what I believe are very simple tracks with basically no harsh turns, amping up a bit as it should as the cup goes on, with maybe this one squeaky clean sprint turn, and the slippery mud twists at the end of Luigi's Mansion. Moving on to the Banana Cup, the cup that basically always sucks complete cheeks, not disproving its reputation here with SNES Koopa Beach 2 opening the cup. But after Bowser Castle 3 and the Booster Course Pass, I don't think we can quite as easily dismiss the old Super Nintendo courses anymore. So Koopa Beach 2 would open the slightly harder Banana Cup well. I really don't think this course is hard enough to go much higher. They put Donut Plains 3 in Banana Cup last time after all. For a minor change, I want this course layout to stay the same as Koopa Beach 2, but to remove this big ugly island, or at least the ugly ass Lego bricks. Also, it takes a closer visual appearance to Koopa Beach 1 with its island shape. If they do keep the island in the middle, I hope they use it for some dynamic landscape with a watery cave, mossy tunnels, or some kind of raised elevation to maybe fly over some water sections. I also think crashing waves as obstacles would be really fun. I think out of the SNES courses, this one has a lot to work with. I don't look at Choco Island and say the same thing. So, with the Wii U courses I've chosen to bring back, although I'd rather not bring back any because I've played them for 10 long years, I think there are some we can justify. The fan favorites, and the weird ones. Excitebike Arena being a perfect weird one, filling a similar niche as Baby Park with quite a basic course loop. I know everyone is memeing on Baby Park with 24 players right now, but that feels a little too insane for me, where I think Excitebike Arena would achieve a similar thing, just a bit bigger, sending everyone through 2 straight parts of jumps in a 3-lap oval. But what would also be a great idea in its return is an expansion on its unique jump layout idea. You may not have realized, but this track varies its ramps all over the course, so add in even more ideas, and it'll feel a bit more refreshed in 9 too. Now I'm actually kind of excited to crash through the air with the 24 racers jumping and flying all over the place. Finally, I feel like I don't have to heavily justify a course. I've wanted 3DS Shy Guy Bazaar to return for ages. It's one of the most unique ways to construct a desert course, and it's by not having you drive on nothing but sand the whole time. It does a very similar thing to Squeaky Clean Sprint in my opinion, in that it's a fairly easy track for new players, but has faster options through the marketplace and literally if you drop off the side of the track. However, it's placed later in Banana Cup because of the countless obstacles on the road with the market stalls and barrels, plus its tight turns. Wii Toad's Factory. Yes, it's okay, my little wee babies. Hush, hush. I've got your food for you now. You can calm down. I've heard you crying back there the whole time. Of course I've got Toad's Factory. It's a great early course that's based on how they make the item boxes, using that concept for amazing hazards with the speed conveyors, the chance for extra items on the sideways ones, and the extra speed you can get on them at the risk of being crushed. I love gambling! I think it can work as a Banana Cup finisher now that I've got 6 cups, so the difficulty's a bit more spread out. I think it can also work with the mud and booster panel section being a sore spot for new players. I love this part of the course, but maybe pushing it to Banana Cup will shut them up. It's not even that hard though, you guys are just bad. Toad's Factory amps up the difficulty a bit with far more hazards than Banana Cup's courses, but since we're spread out to a 6-cup difficulty scale, I think the SNES course and the oval with lots of jumps suit well for the first bit, then 2 4th slot Mushroom Cup tracks end it off. Some of the harder ones in the series history in my opinion. Wrote yourselves into a corner now, Nintendo, haven't you? If Ninja Hideaway is a Nintendo Switch course, what the f*** is this one? Is this somehow a Nintendo Switch one? Because you forgot it.
Jesse, what the fuck are you talking about?
Anyway, yes, the only tour course that wasn't in the BCP, Piranha Plant Pipeline, will kick off the Leaf Cup with an exciting retro course that not a lot of new people have even played before. With the track starting to get a bit more difficult now and the split paths for the 24 players, I think the only real change needed is to increase the width of the pipes quite a bit. This course looks like a nightmare to figure out the camera for otherwise with how wavy and twisty it is. The track is really fun though, with different ways for the racers to split up halfway through, creative use of half pipes in the split open, literal Mario pipes, where they really went all in on the Piranha Plant Pipeway tunnel dive. And for the obligatory final SNES course, it's Vanilla Lake 2. I think despite this being the only SNES theme yet to be remade, I think the fact that now they experiment far more with these will work really well in its favour. They could borrow the water gushes from its remix version, and I chose Vanilla Lake 2 specifically so they could have you slip between the cracks like GCN's Sherbetland. But I was thinking you could have a whole extra version of the course underwater with different entry and exit drops and ramps throughout the track. And as for those f***ing annoying ice blocks that stop you dead in your tracks, let's take the opportunity to make them frozen item boxes where maybe if you hit them you break it open so you get slowed down but can get an item out of it. Or better yet, maybe they could melt over the course of the race. Lap 1 they're all frozen as hazards, lap 2 half of them melt, and lap 3 reveals a chaotic extra item section that wasn't there before. I think they can cook here, easily. You know it's been 17 years since DS Delfino Square last appeared? 17 years! It's more than welcome for a comeback, a Wii favourite of course, so they wouldn't miss a chance to pander again, despite maybe being a bit cramped for 24 players. It wouldn't be too hard to just push back some of the buildings and widen it up, would it? And if you're looking for things to add, maybe you could turn the giant bridge into a glider ramp when fully raised. And for the finale of Leaf Cup, we've got a big finisher as usual with 3DS Wuhu Mountain Loop, or Marco Wuhu if you're a loser. The question with this course is obviously, do I think Nintendo's just going to pretend this course doesn't exist? No, I actually think the return of crossover tracks is definitely possible. They brought back 3DS Wuhu Town for 8 Deluxe's battle mode, plus this one has something major going for it. Wii nostalgia! I love the Wii! I love Mii's! I love Wii Sports Resort! The sports mates suck! All the Wii Sports Resort fanboys will have an extra pair of pants going in the wash the day this course is shown, if you know what I mean. Because they'd probably spill water on their pants or something in excitement. or everywhere. As for the course itself, I think it's a much better choice of the Wuhu tracks, despite it being weird to bring it back before the original Wuhu Island loop. That one's just a crammed traffic course in a big circle. The mountain has a wider track, more off parts, and far more obstacles gameplay wise. Plus, imagine seeing all the other drivers gliding all around you in a glorious Wuhu Island HD sunset. I am the Wii Sports Resort fanboy. Bring them back, please! The Leaf Cup really just ups the difficulty again, with tracks that are easier than the average Mario Kart course like Delfino Square, with Mountain Loop starting to challenge the player a bit with an exciting section course before things get harder. Entering into the second half of more difficult cups now, we open with the chaos of GCN Mushroom City with a traffic course with 24 players. As this track splits players in the middle of the city with simple 90-degree turns, I think it's the perfect traffic course for a larger player count, and it might just be the only one not brought back yet too. A great track, the crossover at the center will be beautiful chaos. Let's get some more GBA courses in here. The BCP kidnapped a lot of the cool ones, but I think Lakeside Park, just like Peach Circuit, has a great foundation built for it in Tour. Not perfect, I think the hazards could do a bit more damage just to make the course a bit more interesting, but I love the progression from day to night as the volcano starts going off in the middle of lap 2. Wouldn't it be neat to have a course go from day to night? It wouldn't even be hard to implement at all. Now 64 was one of the hardest games to pull from because 8 remade 4 tracks from it for some reason, leaving only one track that hasn't been remade. The legendary Wario Stadium. But I'm not picking that track. It's empty, boring, and way too long. It would take a lot of additions that Nintendo definitely could do to make it fun. I just don't think they'll be too bothered, honestly. It kind of feels like they took it behind the barn house and put it out of its misery, replacing it with a new DS Wario Stadium, acting like that other thing never existed. No, I think what we deserve is another shot in N64 Bowser's Castle. Again, it's been a long time. I can just picture the chaos of that big hallway with the flying thwomps, but what I really want out of this one is a few more hazards and things going on. You could amp up so much, add some elevation, fire bubbles jumping between the rundown bridges, the statues shooting lasers, thwomps creating chasms in the floor. We got this one remade already, so go crazy this time. The atmosphere is great with the creepy ambient hums, add maybe a glider section shortcut over the lava geysers near the end, and you're good to go. I think it's one of the best N64 tracks you could pick with varying course elements, and we need some more Bowser Castles. Feels like we barely get them anymore. When choosing retro tracks, the Mario Kart series has tended to pick its best courses to return from the immediately previous game, to give you some time to breathe on the not so great ones. And nothing beats Mount Wario. Everyone loves this course for just the sheer number of things it throws at you. It's like 3 different courses rolled into one, and it'll all be amplified with the higher player count. The tree section will be utter madness. You already know how good this course is. It'll be a great ender for the Lightning Cup, which has a more exciting course to open with, then a grassy lakeside with the volcano starting to tear it apart, transitioning nicely into the lava-filled 64 Bowser Castle, and ending with Mount Wario, similarly leaving the spectacular section courses till the end of the cup, this one much more difficult than Marco Wuhu in my opinion. With back-to-back Wario, in separate cups, we dive right into Wario Coliseum. Fans have been begging for this course for a long while, partly I reckon because of its Cage Coliseum visual aesthetic. Feels kind of like a gauntlet of trials. I think Nintendo purposely chose Waluigi Stadium for the BCP over this course so they could have some good, never before remade courses left just for this game. And now it's time. Wario Coliseum is unique as it's quite long, so things can feel really tense when you know you're on the final lap, but that final lap is a long struggle to get ahead at every possible turn. And unlike N64, Wario Stadium or Rainbow Road, it's actually aware of that fact and is the only course in the series to be 2 laps long. Except for Mario Kart Tour, most of those courses were 2 laps. I thought we definitely didn't deserve more than 2 courses this time after it was so f***ing greedy in the BCP, even though that hurts me as a little wee baby. So with only 2 courses here, I didn't want to pick one of the shitty circuit courses because they're boring as hell. Although Dry Ruins screams desert course much more than Shy Guy Bazaar, just like that course, Ruins does something so uniquely fun with the desert theme that I think it's easily distinct enough to be the second desert course of Mario Kart 9. It has the rickety thin bridge over water, the falling pillars in the open area, and the titular ruins at the center that you have to use the half pipes to flip over to clear with any kind of speed. It's a super cool idea and pulls its idea from Paper Mario with its Dry Ruins. Crazy how when you put things in a desert course, they're actually good. Oh my god! Airship Fortress was robbed! I hate Mario Circuit DS! Ugh. Do you f***ers know how much good we got in the BCP? God forbid they save a fan favorite for later. But I don't blame you. DS Airship Fortress is a great course, with an onslaught of airship themed hazards with rocky wrenches, bullet bills, fire, random crates, and a sick spire where you hold drift like your life depends on it. Alongside its surprisingly rare use of the Mario airship theme, all its hazards, especially the super long drift spire, were so unique that this course needs to come back. I need the chaos of this drift with 24 players. Maybe just widen up the internal airship and we'll be set. I don't even think I need to explain here. This, once again, is one of the few 8 courses I could stand to keep playing, bringing something unique to this game to justify returning a course we've played for 10 years straight already. But this is the last of them, with a split path section, a split path water slide section, and a bunch of conveyors leading to a zoom to the finish. It's all an amazing way to flex the idea of pure speed across so much creativity. Luckily now that's enough with the Wii U courses. Big Blue finishes this cup off with pretty much the exact same philosophy as the last two, with an exciting opener, calmer second course with a treacherous third, and a massive section track ender, this time rocketing over harsh turns at top speed in Big Blue. Opening the hardest cup is one of the hardest courses in the series, Ninja Hideaway. It's a controversial one for that very fact, as the jarring height difference between its two distinct layers across the course can feel awful to fall down. Maybe they could close the distance between the two levels without destroying this gimmick, or maybe the new game's physics will just accommodate it better, who knows. Either way, I really enjoyed this course and want it to stick around. Just like Squeaky Clean Sprint, it feels like we really haven't had it that long. Plus, I've said it 100 times already, it'd be perfect to fill out the wide open layers of the track with more players to populate them. Really make it feel like a fierce competition to stay at the top. And I'm also excited to see it glow past its tragic Wave 1 release visuals from the BCP. I think N64 Banshee Boardwalk deserves a second chance, as it was remade ages ago in DS. It's honestly a pretty cool ghost level, and you've got a lot of level elements to play with here. The sharp and jittery turns, while super fun, are also hard enough to place it in the final cup, especially if you amp up its other potential hazards. There's the maze with the bats dashing out at you that you could do something with, but especially the big Cheep Cheep that jumps out that could destroy the stage and maybe even send some unlucky racers under the creepy waters for a bit. You could put those freaky deep sea bulba fish in there too. Overall, that creepy nighttime boardwalk aesthetic is disturbingly familiar to the real world in a way that just makes it much scarier than the floating void of something like Ghost Valley. So capitalizing on that has heaps of potential, but it needs to capitalize on these unique elements that it has going for it. If they left it how it last was, it would be pretty damn boring. You can't have a final cup without a Bowser Castle before the finale. But with GBA Bowser Castle 4, I know what a few of you unenlightened folk may be thinking. Seriously? Another Bowser Castle? And another stupid GBA one again? Haven't we already seen like 3 of those in the past? But feast your eyes on this course, man. Are you seeing this shit? The Tour remake really rolled with the chaotic, ruined, almost war-torn version of the original course, and they played with that so well, once again proving how much we can change up these previously flat courses. With lava spewing out of the floor, pouring off the walls, a shortcut ramp off the rocky ruined floor, giant falling pinballs with up physics, I don't know, maybe change that one to rock boulders, suspended tilted ramps with a huge boost jump over the course, tight grates over lava with thwomps in the way, or a glider section bouncing off some pillars. This course has so much and it is so f***ing sick. It deserves to be here easily. It's called a road, it's called a rainbow road. It is the road that you go. And so, since I really want a GBA Bowser Castle 4, I will have to skip over Super Circuit's Rainbow Road and select GCN Rainbow Road to end off the Retro Cups. It's not a perfect Rainbow Road, but better than DS's in my opinion, with some crazy stuff it tries to pull off with its insanely tight winding turns. This one has quite a big focus on unguarded twists, paired with trying to go as fast as you can on alternating boost panels, something not many Rainbow Roads try to torture you with these days. So I think this will be a really nice way to send off the retro courses. So that's my list of Mario Kart 9 Retro Cup predictions. I tried to be realistic and follow a few of Nintendo's past patterns to take an educated guess here, but of course I am inevitably biased in what I personally want to see. But I hope I inspired some hope for creativity in some of the weirder picks they might make. Is what I would say if I was a loser Nintendo fanboy. Now I finally got my video back. This is why Mario Kart 9 will have no retro courses, why it's actually called Mario Kart X Triple Dash with 3 exclamation marks, and why the new DK design sucks and it's the worst thing ever since Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.